This from Pro Football Network, post Minicamp power rankings, Tier 1, the elite teams. They go first the Chiefs, second the Eagles, third the Bengals, fourth the Bills. Third tier, the Bones are good. 15, the Chargers, 16, the Browns, Patriots, 17, Steelers, 18, Commanders, Panthers, Vikings. Cleveland's ceiling much higher than the 16th best, but they need Deshaun Watson to look like the one we saw for years on the field for the Houston Texans. And G. Bush, I think 16 is kind of low. I think it's really low. I get the questions about Deshaun Watson. The Browns don't need Deshaun Watson to be as good as he was with the Texans, where he was arguably a top 5. If he is top 10, they're contending for the AFC because you've got Nick Chubb. You've got this defense that I think people are sleeping on the defense a little bit.
Oh, they sleeping on. There's a lot they sleeping on, and somebody has to really just. The only justification for having the Browns this low in some of these polls is the fact that, it's fatigue and it's history, right? And I get that, but every year to year is different, right? We know that in baseball. Like if you got a great bullpen one year, that doesn't mean the next year you come back with the same exact bullpen. You could be horrible in the bullpen, right? Same with turnovers. You can't say, we're great at getting turnovers. No, you were great at getting turnovers last year. What are you going to do this year? Because that number does not necessarily translate to a year-to-year thing. Turnovers are quirky like that. So if you're looking at it, the only way you can be that down on the Browns is just you're just fatigued about hearing about them, but not really. They don't give you the payoff, right? We've heard about you guys having talent on paper. The payoff isn't there. So now I'm just going to go the opposite way and just say I'm going to pump the brakes on the Browns in general and kind of wait to see what they'll do. But that's really not what the exercise is about. The exercise is to say, where did they stand after what you saw in the postseason, in the OTAs? And guess what? Minicamps, by all intents and purposes, everyone talked about the way Deshaun Watson looked night and day. Looked like he had one of his best days this year in terms of people wowing, saying, wow, we haven't seen that play. We haven't seen this and that. And also, let's be clear. Pro Football Focus rates Nick Chubb the best running back in the league. They rate Myles Garrett as the best defensive end in the league. They rate Joe Bitonio as one of the top 3 offensive linemen in terms of interior linemen in the league. They also have as a cumulative grade the 3 corners from Newsom, Ward, and Emerson as a top 10 group back there as well. And you already got Zadarius Smith, you added Tomlinson. We're not going to talk about all the other guys you added. And my thing is, if you got all those top flight guys at each and every position, and we're not talking about 5 or 6, we're talking about number 1. You got to be higher than 16 by default, or with who's just still on the roster.
I'm with you. The thing that I will find really interesting, they're going to have joint practices with the Eagles. If it comes out of those joint practices, boy, this Browns defensive line is, because the Eagles offensive line is as good as the Browns. If you start hearing whispers about the Browns defensive line after those joint practices from the Philadelphia folks, get ready. It's going to be a fun football season.
That's what we're looking forward to, especially comparing them to the Eagles, because they're going to get a up close to the front look at probably one of the best defensive lines in the league in the Eagles. And if the Browns coming out of that looking good, watch out.